Hello, everyone. My name is Shusetsu Toda. I'm a lead developer here at Lisk. Today, I'm going to talk about next step for Lisk development. I'm going to go over briefly Lisk Sdk 5.1, about new features and the release. And then I'll talk about our next step, implementation of Lisk interoperability. Let's talk about Lisk Sdk 5.1 first. Our main objective of Lisk Sdk 5.1 was to improve developer experience. For that, we have implemented 4 major features: application bootstrapping, dashboard plugin, testing framework, and faucet plugin. I'll explain one by one. Application bootstrapping is a new feature on Lisk Commander. It's like npm init or git init, or if you're familiar with front-end development, it's like create React app. With the one command, Lisk init, it will create a new blockchain application. Once you create your new blockchain application, you can create module, asset, or plugin with one command. Generate module, generate plugin, or generate asset. It will facilitate the first step of the blockchain application development. Once you create your blockchain application, you want to see what's happening on your blockchain. So we created this dashboard plugin to facilitate the initial phase of the development. You can see the block creating. You can create a new account for testing. You can send a transaction using JSON format, or you can call or subscribe to the action and events you created. The user interface looks like this. On the left, you can create a new account for testing. You'll see all the recent blocks that it's created. You can send the transaction with the JSON format or call actions that you have implemented. We created this dashboard in a generic way that any blockchain application created using Lisk Sdk can connect to it and use it for initial development. And the testing framework. When you create a new module or plugin, you always want to test it, test the behaviors. And we also created a lot of modules and plugins. Through that, we had a lot of utility functions within the SDK internally. And we thought it will be useful for also for developers. For that, we cleaned up all the utility functions and exposing from framework, so that developer can test as a whole application or test specific module easily. Once you've created your blockchain application, you want to test it in the network with someone else. For that, most likely you'll need a faucet, like we do in our testnet. That's why we also created a new faucet as a plugin and included in the SDK. Those are the new features of Lisk Sdk 5.1. We just released it today, so you can download it from NPM. This is still initial version of our new features, so please give us a feedback in Discord or GitHub. Also, all the new features we'll talk about tomorrow, and we'll give you the demo and more deep explanation, so please check out. That's it for Lisk Sdk 5.1. Let's talk about implementation of Lisk interoperability. Research team have published a lot of libs, and they have divided all the interoperability libs into 2 categories: supporting lib and core libs. We will be first implementing the supporting libs, especially all those 5 libs. Use message tags and network identifier for signatures, add BLS signatures, weighted Lisk BFT consensus, sparse marker tree, and proof of authority validator selection. With the platform team and the research team, we have done the knowledge sharing and we have done the reviews. So we are going to start the planning process, as Manu mentioned earlier, from next week. Not only that, to support the interoperability implementation, we have 3 main SDK objectives. Improve Lisk framework on-chain architecture. This is important because to support the interoperability implementation, we do need some changes on the on-chain architecture. One example is the state store. In the interoperability implementation, each module will have its own key value store. That needs to be accounted in our on-chain architecture. Improve P2P protocol efficiency and consistency. Because our interoperability release will be our first production-level SDK, we want to make sure that our infrastructure, P2P, is efficient and consistent. Improve plugin and channel implementation. Through the development of Lisk Sdk 5, we have found a lot of improvements that we want to do to our plugin. For example, we have found a more efficient way to implement publish and subscription method. A lot more details we will discuss in the planning phase from the next week, and we'll share all the details in the GitHub. So all those LIPs and SDK objectives are preparation for the core interoperability implementations. Our main goal is to implement the Lisk interoperability as fast and as good as possible. And it's very important that all the preparation is done in a good way so that core implementation will be a lot easier. And we're all excited to start tackling the interoperability objectives from next week. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.